My name is Daniel Robinson. I attend AC Flora, and I'm planning to major in geology at the College of Charleston.
Good job.
Government officials insist that this
that BNC Live has been following from the beginning. A father continues his mission to find out what happened to his son.
Daniel Robinson vanished in the Buckeye Desert.
Daniel Robinson went missing in the Buckeye Desert.
Urgent plea from a father who has scoured the vast Arizona desert himself.
4-year-old Daniel Robinson, and this is a very, very odd mystery.
Daniel Robinson disappeared on June 23rd in the far West Valley.
His parents, David and Melissa, need our help.
I'm David Robinson, the father of geologist Daniel Robinson.
His name, Daniel Robinson. And leading the search, not law enforcement, but Daniel's father, David.
God knows how much we can bear, you know, and at times I feel like I can't really take but so much more.
Where is Daniel Robinson?
And, identify they were human leg bones.
But you know what? It's still urgent to me as a father because, you know, we found human remains out here.
David Robinson had only one thought on his mind as he drove the nearly 1,800 miles from his South Carolina home to Phoenix.
I had to find my son. I also want to thank the volunteers that come out here every weekend, volunteering their time. And, you know, without these special people behind me, I wouldn't have a search.
How does a young man vanish off the face of the earth? How does that happen? no record, no sightings, nothing. He's just gone. And when I say a young man, I'm talking about 25-year-old Daniel Robinson. He is the apple of his parents' eye. A young geologist, music lover, good-looking, great grades, the works. So why can't we find Daniel? I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. And his dad, David Robinson, is using the GoFundMe money to fund his own investigation and the desperate search for his boy, his son, Daniel Robinson, 25 years old. What happened to him? How did he just disappear? David Robinson, sir, thank you so much for being with us. Tell me when you first realized your son just hadn't called in a couple of days, that he was truly missing.
Yes, my son, on the 23rd, I did get a call from my daughter. She also lives out in Phoenix.
And at times I feel like I can't really take but so much more.
But in his weakest times, David says it's the volunteers that provide him strength.
You know, everybody knows that I call them my extended family. And so this video is the same thing. We all here have one common goal, and that's to find Daniel and also to bring light what happened to other families.
As the Robinsons' extended family light candles tonight, their collective light shines towards that day when their question is answered and Daniel comes home. Josh Sanders, 12 News.
You are my shelter from the storm. You keep me safe inside your wings. You are my comfort when life gets hard. You lead me to water to drink, and now I trust your gentle hand, even when I can't understand. I know your voice, I'm not afraid, walking with me at the same pace.
When the lights and camera turn off, I will be here. When the interest and conversation fade, I will be here. When there's no one around, a father will do anything it takes to be there for his son, to protect his family.
Daniel Robinson went missing 4 months ago. This is the last photo his family has of him. He's a 24-year-old geologist, last seen leaving his job site in Buckeye, Arizona.
As the Gabby Petito homicide case garners national attention, another young person has been missing for nearly 3 months, and his family is desperate to find him. 24-year-old Daniel Robinson, a geologist, was last seen on the morning of June 23rd, leaving his work site in the desert of Buckeye, Arizona.
David Robinson had only one thought on his mind as he drove the nearly 1,800 miles from his South Carolina home to Phoenix.
I had to find my son.
Okay, there we go. Thank you, everybody, for coming in to this evening Q&A. My name is David Robinson. I am the father of geologist Daniel Cornelius Robinson. My son, Daniel, a geologist, graduated from the College of Charleston in Charleston, South Carolina, came out to Arizona to start his career in geology. He landed his first job immediately upon his arrival to Phoenix, hired by a company called Matrix Southwest Groundwater, also called Matrix New World. They hired him on as a field geologist. They also call it a hydrogeologist. My son Daniel, his job entails him going into different well sites all over Arizona to check the viability of wells. The drilling companies come in, and that's what he does. His company is there to make sure that those wells produce 100 years of water, as well as the viability of those wells, the rock settlements and things that come out of those wells. Those things are being tested. Daniel was doing his job on June the 23rd. He got a work assignment to go to 2 well sites, one off of I-10, Verrado Way area, as well as the other one off of Sun Valley Parkway, both in Buckeye, Arizona. My son, according to his job, those 2 assignments, was signed and did go to the first well site roughly around 7 o'clock that morning. He arrived, according to a worker from a company called Weber. That worker, Ken, said my son did contact him. He got that number, of course, from his job to contact also Ken at the well site, who was already at the well site off of Sun Valley Parkway that morning waiting on Daniel. That worker said that Daniel arrived at the location, roughly around 9. They both went into that desert. My son followed him after they had a brief conversation off the side of the road of Sun Valley Parkway. My son followed him into that desert 1 mile west and 2 miles north to get to the well site. Once they arrived on the well site, like I said, he said they had pretty much a 10 to 15-minute conversation where my son drove off to never be seen again. He said my son just waved off and just left. A couple things before he left, he said my son was staring off into the desert, doing things like some things he couldn't really understand. He was trying to look into my son's eyes to check and see if his eyes dilated and things like that. But again, like he said, roughly around 9:15, my son was gone. He drove off, and no one ever heard from him again to this date. Of course, you guys, that's a narrative of the story that we have from the Buckeye Police Department, who spoke with this Ken from the well site. They gave us a Buckeye, and also the worker gave us a timeline of all the events. According to the police report, my son had took off on that well site roughly around 9:15, and no one have heard from him to this date. But I come to you today, as I did this morning, and I can give you a different timeline, a timeline that doesn't add up to what we have been reporting in the media, reporting in the Buckeyes police report, as well as things I was found to believe, and some things I knew for a while. Of course, I couldn't. Once they put that in the police report, I didn't want to come out with everything that I have that I've been working. Because you guys know I've been doing my own investigation as well. There's some things I still wouldn't be able to share with you all right now. I'm still working on trying to get those things released to the public. And once again, I will be sharing this today, just like I did this morning, some of the call logs and the timeline, so I can put some things together, the call logs, the voicemails, and things like that, to put things together so you guys can kind of get an idea of what happened on June the 23rd that morning when my son left the Verada Way area. Start from that point. I can go some things before that point, of course, but then again, like I said, I'm still doing some investigative stuff on that. I'm still working on my end, trying to do my job as a father to find out what happened to my son, and hoping that law enforcement would do their job and find out the details. They should have found the details that I have found if they were really doing their job. Again, I am David Robinson, the father of geologist Daniel Robinson. I've been here since June 26th, searching for my son. Like I said, once I got here, one of the first things I want to do is work with the Buckeye Police Department. That's the only law enforcement agency that I was told should be handling my son's case, because my son is though he's a resident of Tempe, Arizona. I did call first to put in a police report with the Tempe Police Department. They sent me off to the Buckeye Police Department, stating that because Daniel was last seen in Buckeye, according to what I heard from his workers, so from his coworkers, that's who has jurisdiction over his case. So of course, from that point, I end up, talking to the Buckeye Police Department. And once I talked to them that night, describing that, hey, my son is missing. I know my son, we know his pattern. He broke a norm for Daniel. Of course, they rejected that notion, told me that I had to wait additional hours, and I had to wait till a 12-hour period. So I waited till those time and called back again. I was able to put the police report in. Once I got the police report in, I did talk to an officer, and he was a night officer, and he said that he was going to go out to Sun Valley Parkway. He was also going to do some asking around to find out what happened. He did call me and tell me when he was out on the road. He said, I'm in the area of the desert where your son was missing. I didn't know exactly what Sun Valley Parkway. I never heard of Sun Valley Parkway at that point. I haven't heard of my son was actually in the desert. Only thing I knew is that he was near the White Tank Mountains, whatever that was. He explained to me, hey, this is road going down to White Tank Mountains, and that's called Sun Valley Parkway. I was riding up and down that road to see if your son is on the side of the road, stuck on the side of the road. Of course, I'm relieved about that. Of course, like I said, you guys, I've been still doing my due diligence as a father all the way in South Carolina at the time. And I talked to his coworkers, and they said, hey, look, he was missing at roughly around 9 that morning, like I said, from his job site. But they explained that it was actually in the desert out there in that desert, remote part of the desert. So that's when I'm like, hey, wait a minute. You guys need to go out there in that desert. My son is nighttime now in Arizona. saying he's out there by himself somewhere. And I wanted them to put a bird in the air in that desert to go search for him. Of course, they told me they rejected that, so they couldn't do it that night because it's night, but they will do it in the morning. Of course, I got a call from the officer the next morning saying, hey, we're going to have a bird in the air. I was very relieved, but he called me back an hour or so later and was like, hey, no, the flight has been canceled. It's been unauthorized by his higher-ups. They said it's unauthorized because Daniel's a grown man. If you want to disappear, if you want to, he can. That's the thing I was taught. When I heard that, I lost all sense of reality. These people are not going to try to help me find my son. I'm worried about him. I grabbed everything I could, threw it in my car, and started heading west. Of course, on the way up to Arizona, I've been doing a whole lot of calling, dealing with the Buckeye Police, but trying to get all the answers I can with his coworkers and everything else I can do while I was driving out to Arizona. Once I got to near Arizona, my aunt called me and said, hey, they put in a Phoenix, we got a bird. That's how she put it. She was really happy. They put in a Phoenix Firebird in the air. I didn't know what it was at the time. It sounded like a really powerful aircraft, say Phoenix Firebird. So they said they was putting that in the air, really relieved. But at that time, I was getting closer into Phoenix. And like I said, that was almost 3 days after my son went missing that they put this bird in the air from Phoenix, Arizona. To go out in the desert. Of course, that search, according to the Buckeye Police Department, that search came up empty-handed. There was no vehicle to be found, no Dane to be found, of course. Guys, when I got here, like I said, the first thing I did was want to talk to the guy at the well site. So that's why I'm kind of focusing on this first and to get his side of the story. Because I did hear from 2 officers his side of the story. The story kind of changes a little bit between officers' account when they talk to the guy. One would say that for instance, one thing was that after my son left, he was worried and he went to go look for him and then alerted the job. And then the other, that he alerted the job. The other is that the job called him and made him aware. And that's when he went to go search for Daniel. Okay. One of the things I was asking myself is why he didn't make a simple phone call. But now, after doing my investigation, I learned that there was a phone call from him around 3 something that evening, but there was no call when my son went missing. He did a call to tell my son not to come up there a certain time, but didn't call him once he drove off from that well site to see how he was doing, if he was worried about him, or see where he went to, that type of deal. So anyway, I'm going to go through this call log, and you guys can follow along with me like you did this morning. But I want to first start off with, so you guys can know, I do put things on the bottom of the screen there. That's the tip line there. If you guys have any answer to what happened to my son, direct knowledge of what happened to my son, you can bring my son home with your tip. That's the tip lines for you. It's a paid tip line. I pay for that. It's 24 hours, 7 days a week. Live operators that take your call anytime. They allow you to be anonymous if you like. If you don't want to talk to anybody, of course, the same number, you can just text the word tip to it. The form will come up there where you fill out information, and you still can remain anonymous. I also encourage people who want to be even more anonymous. If you want to get a burner phone and use a burner phone to put that tip in, by all means do so. The ultimate goal is that I have this tip line just for you. It's not for anybody else who's listening. It's for those persons who's actually know what happened to my son and want to fess up, or want to come clean, or want to help out. Whatever the choice is there, I definitely need you to help me and my family to get some closures to what happened to my son. All right. And so some of those things I do have can all match up, and I definitely can put it rest to that and bring my son back home. So that's my ultimate goal. I'm praying to God that I can bring him home alive. At the same time, God knows that we need a closure. So you guys, whoever have information, please come clean and come open and go ahead and let me know. Like I said, it's 24 hours, 7 days a week just for you. Also, a day of remembrance. You guys know that we had a day of remembrance scheduled before. It got rescheduled because of the Roe v. Wade decision that weekend. I had to reschedule, but it's back. This event has been very well planned, thought about for my entire team, my board members. We have been working very hard in the background to get this thing going. So we have it back again. It'll be September the 10th. You guys can come on out and come out and be a part of it. We really want you there as support to families. And if you do have a family member that's missing, please please write us at pleasehelpfinddaniel@yahoo.com and reserve your spot. Reserve your spot. Bring your flyers. Bring your bring your things. And we like you to be able to share a spot, share the platform to be able to share your loved one's story, meet other families of the missing, as well as, like I said, the resources that will be there to help you as well. So please, by all means, take advantage of it. If you have a missing person in your family, invite others that you know as well. Those who want to support, no matter what city, what state you're in, wherever you're at, if you want to plan now, like I say, September is not too far, but it's far enough for planning. If you want to plan to be a part, please RSVP. You can go, please help find Daniel on the events tab, and also it'll take you to this Eventbrite where you can register. You can RSVP for the event. We really want a big number of people there to support these families. Myself, my family as well, need all the support. So if you can do that, I really appreciate it. Also, while you're here, if you're new to this channel, please like, share, and subscribe. That helps with the algorithms. I definitely have gotten this channel have gotten to over 1,000 subscribers, and that's because of you guys have been doing that. I asked you guys to like, share, and subscribe. You have been doing that, and that's been very helpful. It really helped out to get Daniel's story out far. I'm really still working in the background. I had one family on. Her name is Sherry. She was speaking about her mother. I also want to bring other families on this Q&A on this platform, the Please Help Find Daniel YouTube channel, to share your family story. So if you have a missing loved one and you want to be part on a Q&A one of the Wednesdays, or even throughout the week, I can make a special time for you as well to use this platform to be able to share your loved one's story. By all means, please hit me up again. Please help find Daniel at yahoo.com. And definitely, we can talk about that and get you on. I would love to share your loved one's story. So again, like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and I really appreciate it. Also, if you want to do flyer distribution, distributed flyers, you can do the same. Please help find Daniel at yahoo.com and give us your information where we can mail out these flyers to you. If you want to be also go farther than that and want to help out, you can go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com and hit the PDF there and print those flyers out and get them out there for us. And I really appreciate that, because I need all the help I can. That will help in many ways. All right. Also, if you want to be ambassador for your city with those flyer distribution, you can also join me in a Zoom on tomorrow evening at 5:30 right here in 5 o'clock. I'm sorry. It'd be 5 o'clock here, Arizona time. Also, that's California time. But it'll be 8 o'clock p.m. on the East Coast time. The Zoom link will be on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com on the front page, right up under the video there. If you guys look under the video, you'll see the Zoom link. The Zoom link is there for, like I say, for that meeting. So you join in at 5 o'clock tomorrow evening, 8 o'clock if you're on the East Coast p.m. To join in to hear more about the ambassador program to help get those flyers out. So, you want to join me on that. I really appreciate that, as well. If you're in another city and you want to do anything else to try to help my efforts to find Daniel, to try to help with the foundation that's coming up, please go to other ways you can help. Volunteer in other ways tab on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com and put in your information, fill out that form, and put in information. That really will help us tremendously in upcoming things that we're doing. Also, you can contact me right there, the 803-200-7994 public cell phone number, as well as please help find Daniel at yahoo.com. So there you go. I got everything out there. Thank you guys for coming in. Like I said, this Q&A, I really appreciate you being here. Definitely want to say thank you to everyone who came out. Aaron Chase, for instance, you guys have been coming out to all these Q&As supporting. Thank you, Tub 883 Beans. Thank you so much, 1170. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you so much for being here as well. Thank you for being moderator and helping out so much and everything, all your love, support in the background. I really appreciate you, everything you do also. So everybody who's showing up here, I'm really grateful for that you're taking your time to be here. Thanks to the moderators, like I said, for being here. Thank you, for putting that up there. I really appreciate that. Yellow, thank you so much for being here. Yellow Jelly Beans, thank you for being here off of YouTube as well. Barry, thank you for being here. Also moderating team and and board member. Thanks so much for being here. Brooklyn Michelle, thank you for being here as well. Dimps, thank you for being here off the Facebook side. Shauna, thank you for being here as well. Team member and also board member, thanks so much moderating in this chat. I really appreciate that. Thank you, T and Wildflowers, for coming out again. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask your questions. I will be doing that call timeline shortly, but I want to answer some questions as well. If you guys have any questions, I'll be coming down the comment section like I am now, moving kind of fast, and I want to try to get as many questions as I can. So please, by all means, put the capital letter Q, the question mark, or like I said, the word question before you ask your question. That'll help me as I'm coming down the comment section. But I will go ahead and start with this timeline, and so you guys can get what you got. Some of the stuff that you have this morning. It could be the same things pretty much until I'm ready to next Q&A, or sometime in the week I may be releasing some other things as well. Just had to put some stuff together, what I want to be released and things like that. So you guys bear with me on that as well, and I look forward to hearing some of that as well. All right. Right, here we go. All right, I'll start off right here, and let me go ahead and close this off here. You guys, I'm putting up call logs, right? Putting up some call logs so you guys can see what been happened on June the 23rd from my understanding and everything that I know. Again, all right, my son had got 2 assignments that morning. One to go to a well site off of Verrado Way area, and the other off of Sun Valley Parkway area, both in Buckeye, Arizona. Of course, my son had sometime in his travel there in the first well site, he had a missed call from Ken, right? And that was around 7:31 in the morning. If you guys can look here, I think I have it down here on the bottom. The one on the bottom is scratched out because that's the number that came in also that morning, but I know what that is. That's something I don't think is relevant here just yet. And he did around 7:31, but then he ended up leaving a voicemail. And the first voicemail he left to my son is something I was going to play right here for you guys here, the voicemail. And the voicemail was the first voicemail where he was asking my son not to come up, of course, because of some fuel issues and things like that. So that's one of the first things as well that you guys will hear. And I'm going to play that now.
Hey, Daniel, this is Ken with Rebel Water Resources. I'm out here at Trillium off of Sun Valley Parkway. I'm waiting on fuel. I think it's going to be a while. He was all the way over at Fort McDowell here at 6 o'clock this morning. So I just wanted to give you a heads up. It's, I don't want you to come all the way out here and just sit and wait. But I was going to give you a heads up when you're about an hour away from being ready to go and stuff. But if you can, just give me a call when you get a.
Okay, and what ended up happening is after that voicemail was left around 7:31, and Daniel called him back at 7:34 a.m. And then from that point, you guys could see that Daniel had also a missed call from Steve, is one of the gentlemen from his job at Matrix that morning, and that was roughly around 8:33 a.m. And also Daniel called him back, and that was at around 8:35. So when Daniel got a call, he ended up calling people back. That seemed like what the pattern is going on here. Then he got a call back from Ken again at around 8:08 a.m. And then of course Daniel texted Ken around 8:10. About 2 minutes after that, he texted him, and I do know those text message was you guys. I don't have the text message printed here, but the text message was asking for directions how to get to the location. From that point, I didn't see any text message back to Daniel's phone saying that from him say, hey, with directions how to get there. But I did see Daniel call him again around 8:13 because I'm sure he didn't get a response. So he ended up calling again at 8:13, and then There was nothing from Ken at all. Nothing from Ken at all. But we know that the story is that Daniel showed up at 9 o'clock, right? He showed up at 9 o'clock, roughly not 9 o'clock to out there Sun Valley Parkway to get to that well site. They say that according to the Buckeye Police Department and Ken, he was there at 9 o'clock and he left for roughly around 9:15, right? Nobody heard from him since that point. But on the call log, you can see here, if you guys look on the right side of that the sheet here, the call log, I put a little mark there. Right there at 9:28, Daniel called Ken. He had a call. So I'm assuming in my thoughts and looking at everything from, if I'm getting some of those Google things as well, Daniel still haven't made it to Sun Valley Parkway because he was trying to find out how to get there, right? I'm not sure, but that's an assumption right there. That's one of the theories. And so you guys can look at it as 9:28. That's well after 9:15, as we see in the police report of Buckeye, Arizona. And so you know that some of those things are not, the timeline is not accurate. All right, and then he got a missed call from, now we hear nothing else from Ken at all. We got a missed call from Steve around 10 o'clock. And then we got a text from Kevin from Matrix around 10:44. And his text message, well, I can tell you that he was asking if Daniel's okay. I guess because he didn't hear from Daniel. According to that report, somehow all this was done in the afternoon. It don't mention about people calling to check on Daniel. So the job was aware something's wrong, at least around 10 o'clock that morning, that something was wrong with Daniel. And I'm sure reached out to Ken and whoever else that something was wrong. But according to now, he's moving the date like, oh, I've been looking for Daniel around 3 because he was concerned. Why not 10 o'clock? Why not 11 o'clock? You know, things like that, right? And we do know the first initial crash, according to my investigator who did an excellent job on that vehicle and get information, was 4 hours after Daniel went missing, right? So you guys can kind of keep all that kind of stuff into your mind, as well as I'm going down this phone log here. We got a text from, like I said, Kevin around 10:44, as in everything's okay. And then we got a missed call from Daniel's boss, Nathan, around 10:58. Same thing with Nathan. He called 10:59. He called again. He did a text, 10:59. Did one at 11:22. And each one of them, hey, man, he's really worried about Daniel. Find out what's going on with him. Hey, call me, text me, do something. He just want to know what happened to him, right? Then you get a text from Daniel's friend, also one of the coworkers at Matrix as well, Roger, around 11:10. You guys can, I don't know if it's up here on this one, but I have to swap to the next one here. Okay, there we go. At 11:10, we did get Roger at 11:10. I mean, he's been sending several messages, text messages, not just one, several, because I'm sure he was really concerned about what happened to Daniel. So he put a lot of information out. Hey, man, you need me to come pick you up, to, you name it. Then he left. Then Steve left a voicemail around 11:35. He called, left a voicemail around 11:35. Same old thing, to check and see if Daniel is okay. And then Roger again called around 1. Same thing, checking to see if Daniel's okay. Around 11:01 p.m. 11:05, p.m. is when he called and left a voicemail. So from that point on, I didn't get anything else. No, the missed call. He got a missed call from Ken though, and Ken called at 3:23 p.m. way late in that evening, from all the way from that early morning until 3 something that evening when he decided to call. There was no voicemail, no nothing, just a missed call to Daniel's phone. And then from that point, you guys, it was all just me, my family, and things like that. Because at that point, my daughter got alerted that what was going on by Roger, and who came out to her resident to let her know something was going on. Daniel was last seen at the well site, roughly, and all that kind of stuff there. And so that's the way that timeline went. So I want you guys to look at that, this timeline. You can go back over the video again. Just a little bit something I'm putting out right now, just trying to see where I'm going with this and keep things going out there for you guys can see why I'm so angry when it comes to the way my son's case been handled. It's been handled lightly, carelessly. They have been taking people's word at things, not vetting the story, not going over the whole timeline like I have been doing, as well as not going out there in the desert as I have been doing outside of my searches to trace these steps, what this person says, vet their story to see if it's true, check the weather report, all this kind of stuff. Even with things like, at the crash site. I'm going to get to those points too. You guys, I'm going to share some things with you when it comes to that crash site, that not only what my investigator found, but other things that I found as well. And my stuff is more of common sense, more of things that don't make sense, things that sticks out, that says foul play, things that says setup, things that says, hey, this is possible, something staged, that type deal, just as my investigator put out there, right? So I will be showing you guys those things as well. I'll be doing things a certain kind of way as I'm putting it out there, so you guys can see what I've found and what kind of real detective work is really about. And when you're really trying to find out what's happened to a person and bring somebody back home to their family. Unfortunately, I had to do that. I had to put two hats on. I had to remain a father, but I also had to put an investigative hat on. I also had to put on other hats as well. Had to do things like this, share stories, try to stay strong for my son and my family. And it's painful. It's painful to know these things and watch these things happening, and and just sit here for a whole entire year telling the same old story when I know that story wasn't true. Had to say the same old story to you guys because I had to do an investigation on my own. So now, as I'm realizing that I'm not having law enforcement really pushing really hard to help me, like you see it would happen to these other families. So I had to go to the public. I had to go to you guys, and also I had to help myself and try to help my family as well. So you guys can see some of the things reason why I want people like the Justice Department to come in and look at this case and look at things that happen with that department when it comes to my son's case, as well as the FBI, because my son's vehicle is on federal land and things like that, and investigate and help me with these forensics work to find out the people who's involved in my son's disappearance as well. Go with the stuff that I do know as well. So thank you guys for taking the time out to go through this simple thing. I'm starting with something simple, and then I'll give you guys a lot more the next time I'll be putting some things together as well. So again, just to refresh everything, that timeline that I will tell you, I'm going to keep repeating it because that's what they have in their police report. But I'm going to let you know, guys, for a long time, I know that timeline is well off. I know that some other things in my son's phone that I was able to get recovered suggest that, for instance, little simple things. If they did their due diligence, like I have, if Daniel had said, "Oh, I'm tired," it would have been because he was working all night. You know what I'm saying? According to the movement of his phone. I'm not sure if that's what that exactly is, but you'll find out a lot of stuff about that as well. So just so much of that, you guys. If you look at the timeline, like I said, it was reported by the Buckeye Police Department that my son was at the well site around between 9 and 9:15. But we know that is not true, because why would my son be calling at 9:28 or 20, whatever it was, 9:28, 8 in the morning, trying to get directions to the location, right? Or if whatever happened, if he got there and left, he called again, but that wasn't ever mentioned, that type deal. So you guys can look at that and see how things are being rushed in my son's case. There's rush to judgment, saying he's a grown man, he wanted to disappear, that type deal that caused them to have no action on my son. And it caused what happened to this day, called a year of me not being able to find my son happened because the police department was slow to act. When the family says, "Hey, my son, that's not normal for my son. I know I'm in South Carolina. I need your help. I'm 2,000 some miles away from Arizona. I need you to go do this thing for me on my behalf." And they didn't do that. And so I had to drive out here and do this for a whole entire year. To stop life, retired military, stop life, be out here for my son. It's my pleasure. I have to do this for my son. It's my job. That's what fathers do. That's what mothers do. But I'm saying you guys need to know as well, that's what law enforcement is there for, right? Not to push that off to laziness or whatever the case may be, assumptions and everything else, trying to save on their budget or whatever the case may be. This is a human life. This is my son. If it's one of those officers, they don't even care what budget they spend. They'll go broke trying to find that officer or his children or their own children. So I've been here, like I said, this whole entire time. And it's sad. I'm pleading, begging for law enforcement to help me. But I easily, people come knock on my shoulder. Had a young man missing, I think in Colorado, one of these states, 16-year-old guy living on a farm somewhere, and he got FBI into his case. We saw what happened in the Petito case. His family, they spent millions of dollars to go find those people without efforts from the family. It's not the family fault when I say all of this now, nothing reflecting to the family, but the way that the process is when it comes to certain people and how they really wanted to handle certain things in a certain way. I'm begging for help. And then it gets scrutiny because I've been begging for help. Got some help. Thank God for you guys who've been donated to the GoFundMe, who kept me here on the ground. I asked you guys, hey, look, I need help to stay here in Arizona with my boots on the ground. You guys kept me here. I need help with the desert searches out there. You guys helped me do that. I need help to get a private investigator. You guys have done that. So I'm really grateful for everything you guys have done in this whole process, because like I said, if that wasn't, like I said on the preview here, if it wasn't for these people that was in that searches out there with me, I wouldn't even have a search. It would have been me going out there by myself. I wouldn't have been covering a lot of ground. You see how many people come out there, 200 or so at a time. And when I first started searches, and we still to this day have ground that need to be covered. And so it's a lot of desert out there. There's a lot of space. And we've been fruitful. We've been bringing home closure to other people's families. Buckeye Police Department can't even say that. They try to take credit for it. They had it written down in the Maricopa County examiner's office as they the one that found those remains. But I had that corrected. That happened with the volunteers. The volunteers in my searches. It has nothing to do with it. They haven't, like I said, the police department haven't found a construction cone because they're not out there looking. They're out there, but they're not looking. So the type deal is out there just say, hey, we out there, so they can write in a report. Yeah, we was out here on the search. They're not looking, So I have to do it. I have to do that. I have to do my own friends' work. They didn't do it. I had to ask them to do fingerprinting. They weren't going to do it. They turned everything over to me in evidence bad marked for safekeeping because they're not going to do it. They're saying my son had a severe head injury. He's never been classified as a dangerous person. This is a person that's missing because they don't want to do it. My investigator has been hesitant to give them the evidence that suggests foul play with everything he found. Very hesitant. We took a chance at it. They shut down and stopped talking to me. And that's when the relationship between me and the Buckeye Police Department went really bad. So you guys can see how the whole thing is going. And I'm trying to figure out the reasons why. Whatever they're also blocking when it comes to the FBI. When I asked for a case review, the guys end up doing it. But then they had a secret meeting with the FBI, and the FBI, according to that one agent, saying that Buckeye doing such a great job. I'm like, what great job are they doing when they lying on the timeline on their report? When they're allowing a young lady to come up and put her own information, a one-sided hearsay story of text messages that don't matter. And that's another thing I'm going to bring up next, you guys. You're going to see, and the only thing you have to simply do with this call log and what you see in that police report is do a count. All you do is literally just count the text messages on Daniel's call logs versus what they have in the police report and the timestamp, and then you can see what I'm talking about. You got to say something was added, something was taken away, and all that kind of stuff. But they took that hearsay and put it in their report. So, that's the kind of treatment that my family have, disrespect. I'm going to also share a video with you guys on the next Q&A as well with Chief Hall taking us out to, when I say I had my searches that Saturday after my son's vehicle was found here. After that, I still had searches looking for my son. I had searches before that vehicle showed up, and I was having to search that weekend already planned when that vehicle showed up. And waiting on that search, lo and behold, Chief Hall showed up. I told y'all that story before. He showed up. That's the first time I met Chief Hall. He got out the vehicle, showing up with my search coordinator at the time. And it was very disrespectful to me and my daughter. He came out. They say, hey, this is Mr. Robinson, his daughter. Hey, how you doing? Pretty much. And then he started yelling, grandstanding. hey, y'all want to know where this vehicle was found? And the people like, yeah, we want to know. And he's like, well, come follow me. And they was like, get ready to get in the car. No, we just walk us right over this hill, And I didn't know at the time because my search coordinator was working very closely with that department, and I didn't know that at the time. And I was wondering why we first started working in that thing called what we call a quarry, because it was close to the point where my son's vehicle was found. We talked about that before in my searches. And like I said, he showed up, had us following him. I got the video so you guys can see we following Chief Hall, just walk out there to this part of the desert with my son, this area. This area wasn't the spot, but this area. Then once he got out there, he was grandstanding about where the vehicle found pointers in the wrong direction, where the vehicle wasn't found, saying he was there and all this kind of stuff he was talking, and then started talking to things about the cartels, and I guess giving me an assumption that the cartels did something to my son. They fly down Sun Valley Parkway, landed the planes on Sun Valley Parkway at night, dropping their drugs or whatever the case may be. That kind of talk, right? And then not only that, two things happened that Saturday. Chief Hall showed up, and also the rancher showed up. The first time they ever showed up, and the last time they ever showed up. But they showed up to put me in that story and say, hey, this is where your son's vehicle was found. This is what we did by blah, so and so on. But he pointed me in the wrong place. But the rancher was there to point us in the right direction, saying, no, look, it happened right here. I don't want found it. He introduced himself, that type deal. But like I said, that was the first and last time they ever showed up to my searches ever. So, one of the things is you guys I'm gonna put some things together so you guys, when I promised the timeline a long time ago, you guys can see the predicament that I find myself in emotionally when you have to sit there and hold certain things in for months, over a year, and some things, and you have to keep it to yourself just to try to get more information. I was trying to fight really hard to get the forensics done to tie in some things I do know. I'm still working on that. And so you guys, and I don't have people I can trust. It's hard to trust law enforcement because, like I told you guys, they have this thing when it comes to law enforcement too. They have this cold blue F thing they got going on, and they can talk amongst each other, and none don't want to hurt the other. That type deal. They ain't want to tell on the other. So what do you do at that point but to do things for yourself? So what I'm saying. So I'm really trying to work hard to make sure I get that done. My son deserved that. He deserved justice. He deserved to be respected. No matter what happened to Daniel, he needed to be respected. He needed to be treated fairly. He needed to be treated the way he should be treated. He's a very brilliant young man, 24 at the time when he went missing, 25 now. And very brilliant man, been working very hard for what he got. Don't even have such as a speeding ticket. This guy, he's been have his just like I said, his whole career ahead of him. Dreams, aspirations, what he want to do in life. Very sure of himself, very confident, in himself. You barely hear me say anything about him being born with one hand. We do know that. But you know what? To meet Daniel, to know Daniel, you almost miss that he's so confident in himself. You'll miss that he's so much great in everything he does. So you'll actually almost miss it with your own eyes. So that's the way Daniel comes off, a very friendly person, and definitely love his family. So that's one thing that keep us going as well, keep me going, is my love for my family and for my son as well, to know that something's going to happen. I'll bring my son back home, and I'm going to keep fighting. So again, if you guys have any questions, I will get back to that. If you have a question, please by all means put in the capital letter Q followed by your question or the word question, things like that, to help me find your question as I come down the comment section. Again, like I said, I will be back again to add more information. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Aaron, for putting that up as well. More information to everything I want to release. I'm just going to release some things slowly, and some things I want to release, but I want to get counsel, guidance from counsel first on some things. But some things will be that's not going to hurt me from my own investigation, from other things that definitely have to go with forensics. So, all right. Shiro's Nation, thank you again for being here as well. Rachel, thanks for being here. Thanks, Sophia, for being here, moderating as well, being a board member, and also my A-team member. So thanks so much. Shannon, also for being here as well. Shauna, thanks for putting that up. Ask your questions here and start with the capital letter Q. the word question or a question mark, and that will definitely help me. Thank you, Angie, for being here as well. Thank you, One God Can Judge. That's right. Sure enough. Thank you again for being here as well. Yellow, thanks for being here. But thank you guys. Thank you everybody for being here, and I really appreciate it. So again, I'm coming down the comment section, and I want to say that to everybody, and thank you all. But I can't get to everybody, so I'm going down the comment section and definitely look for those comments before those questions before I run out of time. Thank you, Larnell, board member, team member as well. Thank you so much for being here this evening in the Q&A. I really appreciate you, sir. Thank you. All right, D-Love as well. Thank you, D-Love, for being here as well. All right, so I'm coming down the comment section here, guys. If you can, please, by all means, like I said, just ask your questions. I'm really willing to answer what I can. Kellen, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for everything you've done in the desert, being that family out there in the desert, as well as the flyer distribution they've done, and your major support and everything I've been doing from day one, coming out to even the city council meetings with me. So I really appreciate that. You've been showing a whole lot of love, and also for being a fellow veteran, one of my battle buddies. I really appreciate you as well. Thank you for being here. All right, and I'll come down to the comment section, and if you guys can, please. Oh, I do have one here from Angie. Thank you, Angie, for putting the first question up here. I really appreciate that, and you coming out. Is it possible that someone did something to him at the first Verado site? I don't leave nothing out. I leave nothing out of that, out of my theories, and I'm putting those things together as well. Perhaps scared Daniel. So when he supposedly saw the coworker at the second site, he appeared off to him. If that was true, I would not doubt anything at this point. You know, saying that everything is open on the table for me, Angie, and I'm really trying hard. I'm not a professional, but I've been able to, through God's help, and I give God credit. And I do have some people in the background that was helping as well. We do have people like also John Q, Carla, and some others who's been helping, T. Sophia as well. Some people who've been helping with getting some information as well as some things. I have been doing myself. Getting information that helped me towards some of the investigative stuff I've been doing. So it's all God. It's all God's been helping, put me in the right place at the right time, getting the information I need, and helping me out. So I'm not gonna let none of that go. Everything's on the table for me to look into. Everybody, that type deal. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do as a father, despite of what I feel was lacking in law enforcement. All right. Thank you, Tiffany, as well, for being here off the Facebook side. How can we, the community, assist at this time? Will there be any future searches that you would like to help with, etc.? Yes, I'm definitely needing future searches as well. I caught a lot of slack for decisions I had to make. And when I say I caught a lot of slack, this is my son, my searches, and my efforts to find my son, right? And I can't have those searches or those efforts without the volunteers. And I'll make it clear that everybody in the searches are family to me. I love them, and I really appreciate it for everyone. I mean, each and every last person out there. And sometimes what happens is, because of that, when you have to make decisions that's based on best for me and my family, some people will feel offended somehow and think it's all about them. You know what I'm saying? It's not. It's about my family. It's about my son. And I had to make decisions based on that. And a lot of those decisions it was hard, very hard for me to make a decision, for instance, Tiffany, to pause the searches at one point. I came from having searches every week, some through the weekdays, to actually doing it every other week, trying to save funding. It was very expensive. A lot of people, even some to this point, started trying to ask me questions about that. Very expensive. I had to buy equipment for myself, my investigator, as well as a team at times, and try to make sure the people are safe and have things they need, and also have to, some other little things. But there's a whole lot I can go into that. But what I'm saying, when I had to cut it down to every other week, to end up being once every other week, until had to end up pausing, it was very, very hurtful, because there is areas out there that always, every time I leave that desert, and it's very intimidating. You think you're done, and then there's more, right? And there's things you find out, and the things you do find out there, and then when we find the remains out there, it's scary, because the last thing I want for my son, if he's out there somehow, to be lying on that ground, because I see what that desert does to a human body, right? And it's sad to say these people have closures to some form of closure. I don't think they have closure. They have some form of closure to what happened to their loved one, because we didn't recover the entire remains. We found parts of the remains. And so what I'm saying is that's what the desert does. So that's a problem for me. So yes, definitely going to have more searches, but it's also going to be about funding. And people say, why you need money? I even heard somebody say that. That's almost asking law enforcement why they need to spend millions of dollars to look for two people out there searching, because it takes money to do that. It takes money to really do a search. It takes money to be responsible. You can get anybody to say, hey, come on, just follow me out here in this desert and let's go look for somebody, and you're not providing anything. You know what I'm saying? You're providing nothing. So being very responsible, I believe I've been very responsible, being a person who never had a missing person before, didn't know what to do, don't know how to do searches, but did the best I can with what I can, and how I felt was the right way to approach things and do things, not by I've been with some school to learn how to do that and what I'm supposed to use and equipment I'm supposed to get and all this kind of stuff. No, we had to figure it out as we go. We had to figure things out as we go. So definitely going to have those searches again coming in the future. If anybody want to assist, like you want to assist in other ways, Tiffany, I don't know what city or state you're in. Just like I said at the beginning, you can go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com and volunteer in other ways tab and put your skill sets there. You may be able to help the upcoming foundation to things that happen here. Please help find Daniel from, just anything. We need help in a lot of ways. I have a team now. We put those things together, the needs that we have, and we relay that to you all as well. So that's going to be some upcoming meetings for people who do that. Put the form in for, helping volunteer in other ways. You also can use the PDF right there on Please Help Find Daniel as well to put flyers out. Become an ambassador in your city to get those flyers out. That will also help with the foundation in the future as well. So it's a lot of areas. Just go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com, sign the petition. There's so much you can do. You can write the congressman. You can definitely write Buckeye or anybody and say, I need my son's case. What I'm saying here is have my son's case moved to a different jurisdiction because there's enough damage been done to my son's case. I have all the evidence in my possession, and I would like to see it in another jurisdiction. I would not give it back to Buckeye. They gave it to me. They would not be getting it back. So I definitely have to have it put in different jurisdictions. So you guys, so you can help me in all kinds of ways. You help me in my family. Also prayer, Tiffany. We definitely need prayer all the time. Fast and prayer for Daniel. Thanks for putting that up, Ruthie. Player, fast and prayer for Daniel. That will be coming up again on Wednesday, close to that 23rd of this month. So you guys can be aware of that. The hashtag, you can start putting that up. That really helps as well. Thank you, Carolyn, again, for all your hard work that you have been doing, like I said, out there in the desert, also the flyer distribution and everything else. I really love you for that, and I thank you. Hi, David. Will you be doing another Zoom meeting tomorrow? Yes, I will. For people who want to be an ambassador in the area, I'll be doing that every Thursday, Carolyn. I'm asking asking for me because I keep missing them. It's okay. You definitely can do that, or you know my number. You can call me and we can talk about it. But definitely, yeah, we have the Zoom. We have the Zoom tomorrow at 5. So definitely, if you want to, anybody, you can just go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com, and it's right up under the video on the front page under the video section. That's playing at the beginning. I said I was going to make it small. I had so much happen today when I had the meeting today with the official. It threw me off, but I wanted to go on the website and try to shrink that video down a little bit so you guys can see that Zoom link a lot easier. So you can use that Zoom link at 5 o'clock tomorrow evening here in Arizona and California on the same time zone. Or if you're in on the East Coast, it's 8 p.m. Not you, Carolyn. I know where you at. But if you're on the East Coast, 8 p.m. So you guys, anybody can come in if you want to help out with the ambassador program. And I really appreciate it because I need all the help I can to get these flyers out as far as I can. All right. Yellow Jacket Beans, thanks so much. Yellow Jelly Beans, thank you so much for being here this evening. Thanks for your questions. Have you shared Daniel's story on Dateline? No, I have not. He seems to get a lot of attention and help for cases he covered. And I heard Deuteron name a lot. I hear a lot of other names as well, a lot. I didn't have time to really check it out, so you guys, I get things thrown at me all over the place, and I can say one thing here, hey, I'm, checking to this person or whatever, and sometimes it happens and sometimes it don't, but I heard of that name before. That name sounds really familiar, Deuteron, but no, I have not been able to reach out to Deuteron. So thank you so much for sharing that information with me as well. Oh, I do have Miss Q here. Thank you, Miss Q, for showing up. I really appreciate that. Thank you. I haven't heard from you in a long while. I really appreciate all the nice things you have done, all the great things you have done in the background as well to help with Daniel's case. And I really appreciate you and Mr. Q as well. Thank you so much for joining in on this Q&A this evening. I really appreciate that. Also, let's see, PM do have a question here. Thank you, PM Channel. I really appreciate that. The question is, there are so many theories regarding Daniel's disappearance. It is the person who lied about being a federal agent cannot be trusted. Are you sure Daniel made it to a well? I'm not sure, and that's what I'm looking into, PM. I mean, that's some things I do know still, and I'm still not being able to release these things, so I have to say things a certain way I do until I'm able to share those things. But you know what? I agree with you. I don't believe anything from what I know now from anybody who said that was for him saying he was a federal agent. First of all, he's not. I found that out very quickly once those things have been brought to me through last year around November. And so definitely that cannot be trusted, as well as saying this whole theories, the theories that's out there. There's a whole bunch of theories out there. I have some theories that I have to be working theories as well to try to help understand some things as well. So you'd be surprised some of the things I do know, like I said, and some of the things that can fall into place to what possibly happened with Daniel. So, all right. But those things that help. But I agree with you on that. Not being, first of all, he's not a federal law enforcement officer or agent or anything like that. All right. I do have a question here from Yellow Jelly Beans. Thank you again. Have you shared what you have found with the FBI? No, I have not. I shared a lot of things with FBI. I shared the fact that I had death threats at the beginning. Put a report in with the FBI. They shot me over to the Buckeye Police Department, told me I need to report it to them first, and they need to refer them over. I guess invite them in on that point. I did that. Buckeye didn't act upon that as well. Chief Hall tried to act like he's the chief of police at the time. When he heard about it, he say he just heard about it. He said, "Oh, I didn't know. I didn't hear nothing about it." And but that's his department. But the thing is, I did put in a report as well about things like that in the past. And so I did try to inquire the FBI to come in so I could be able to share some things like my son's vehicle that was found on federal lands. So that type deal. So, hopefully they would. I can't speak for the FBI, but I can speak for the agent who came and did the case review, and thank you, Buckeye, done such a great job. All right. And let's see, have a question here. Rachel Arnold, are you able to share any information about what you have found out about the Waffle House gas trips? Do you have that phone log? Once I be able to put certain things together to be able to present it like that, I do have information. For me, it's simple. It's simple. I can say it this way to sum it up to what I do know about the Waffle House, for instance. Buckeye have a lot of questions to answer, and that's the only way I can say it, right? Because what they gave me was still photos. I understand now. You guys can look at this and do it to make common sense to you. You go to a Waffle House to get footage of a subject that you're checking to. I'm a police officer, right? Law enforcement. And you go to them and say, "Hey, I need to get some footage on such day at such time." Do you really believe that office manager would go in there and say, "Yes, sir, I have these things I can provide," call it whoever they need to do and say, "Hey, we can provide you with what we have." And they come pull out a bunch of pictures and say, "Oh, I have a bunch of pictures here of what happened." That's what Buckeye trying to help me to believe, right? They first told me they have video footage of Daniel and made some suggestions. I mean, you guys know it was in that report. This is my son's first time ever going to the Waffle House, first of all, but they had made some suggestions as some waitress at the Waffle House know Daniel very well in the sense, know his mannerism. He's been kind of skittish today, that kind of stuff, and then had this video they claimed they had. They've been saying, I got this video telling me it's family. Got this video of Daniel footage there at the Waffle House. When I asked for those things, they end up giving me pictures of the video. Like, somebody hold a camera to the video and take these still pictures and saying that's what they have for me. Now in hindsight, now they saying that's what they have too. They never got no videos. They just have pictures. So you telling me Waffle House gave you pictures of footage. That's the way I'm saying, the way they're treating me and myself, a man who's been on the ground searching hard for my son, who gave them the benefit of the doubt at the beginning. And once we turn in evidence, they shut down on us. And so that's the kind of stuff I had to deal with. But I can't tell you what I've seen just with the pictures they gave me. Again, I'm gonna say it just like this. They have a lot of explaining to do about that because I'm too smart to really figure things out when it comes to what they gave me as well, right? And so what don't make sense in their report. So all the stuff is stuff that what is in their report against what the realities of things are. So yeah, I do have things I would like to share, but I would find a proper time to be able to share that with the public and everybody else. So as in, do I have that phone log? Do I have my son's phone log? Yes, and that's some of the reasons why I was able to share some of the things I have shared to date with you guys, because I do have my son's phone logs and things like that in those upcoming days and stuff like that. So I was able to get more information out of that phone that that I didn't have at the beginning. So that helps me out tremendously a lot. All right, Jennifer, thank you so much for being here on the YouTube side. Background check on men that last saw him. A lot of people can do that. A lot of this public information is out there. I know I have done some and a few people, and I'm not going to put information about these people there, but I do know some things as well that's going to be troubling about certain people's that's involved or subjects in my son's case. So I can just put it that way as well. All right, you guys can find some of those things yourself if you want to be able to spend that kind of money to do that. Yellow Jelly Bean, thanks so much for your question. Have drones being used in the search? Yes, they have. The limited drones that we have very, very wonderful people donated drone operators that came out to my searches to utilize their drone. I even purchased a drone for the search myself that I was also utilizing out there, but we never ever was getting those type of drones that I needed. That specialized type drones I've been needing. I have one team that ever came out for anything. One nonprofit organization that came out when I reached out to so many nonprofit organizations. That one is Black and Missing, and they the only one that came out. When I say they only one came out by donating and helping towards the searches out there, as well as sending a drone, their drones out there as well, that they're affiliated with it. So definitely grateful to that foundation for helping. But as in the drone, specialized drones I needed way back, and I've been asking for certain capabilities in drones that I did ask Buckeye about could it help me with. I never got it. Never got Buckeye to do any of that, for instance. But they did take the same money that they could have done that type stuff to help me out searching these with these specialized drones, searching these wells and mines. They decided to get a private investigator of accident reconstructionist, though I already had one, because they didn't like what we found and have that accident. They wanted to spend money on that to bolster their, in my opinion, bolster their own theories and what they want to say happened to my son on that in the scene here. So definitely never had drones out there specializes, but we do have drone operators did everything they can canvas land, and it was very useful. We was able to utilize our mapping system a lot better with the drones and stuff like that, get pictures, and still have people operators out there to this date that go out there and do some stuff for me as well. One gentleman is in the Air Force, very, very big champion on getting footage out there, send things out to me, email. And so we definitely use a lot of drones out there in the desert. to this date. So, all right. Though we don't have the organized searches, but drone operators still going. Okay. All right. Aaron Chase, thank you so much for your question. How did your meeting go today? Very well. A lot of things I needed. My team and myself was able to join in the meeting, and it went really well. Are you pleased with how it went? Yes, I am, and we're going to see. Definitely whenever I have meetings like that, like I said, to me, actions speak louder than words. But sometimes people can do what they can do, but at least they're showing some action to that. That's good enough for me. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes people can't do but what they can do. But I think great things going to come out. There's a lot of weight behind that. A lot of things going to come out good. Going to come out of there, and I'm going to get some forward moving. I'm going to have that faith, get some forward moving in my son's case. All right. PM channel, thank you again. Question, has any of the other neighboring police departments offered assistance, such as Scottsdale Police Department, Tempe, Mesa, Phoenix, mayor, governor, city council, anyone? Well, I can start off like this. I first reached out to the Buckeye Police Departments. I reached out to Buckeye mayor went to their city council. Reached out to the city manager, the mayor, the whole city council. First of all, from letters that I've been writing to Chief Hall. And the second part is when I went up to, you guys, some people remember I went up to the city hall. The first attempt up there was just to show my presence. They knew who I am. If you're the mayor of the city, you know what happens in your city. They know I was out there finding human remains. They know I was out there for weeks doing desert search and have hundreds of people out there. They know all of the stuff, but they chose to ignore me. And so I made sure they see who I am. Make sure I came to the city council meeting and sat on the front seat myself and another team member. And then the next one, that's when I spoke, because they didn't respond to that. That's when I said, "Hey, I'm here." Basically, that's what my speech was about. I'm here. I'm doing this out here. Look for my son. I'm here. You cannot ignore me. I'm here. And it still didn't move these people. They had stone faces. They had no movements at all. No condolences, no nothing, no wishful great wishes, no nothing. But like my Angels Low say, when a person show you who they are, believe them. So I believe them who they are as people. So, but I went down the street. I didn't go to some of the other ones like Scottsdale and Mesa and some of these other cities in between. I'm still learning all these cities around Phoenix. But I did go to Phoenix next. Went to the Phoenix Police Department. Different reception. It's amazing. You go 40 miles down the road, 30, 40 minutes down the road, and the whole audience of people is totally different. Went down to Phoenix, and man, it got a great reception. Even one of the council members about to break rules just to even talk to me immediately. Got overwhelming support from the city manager there, the mayor, and as well as some of the other officials that's there, the chief of police as well. Did reach out to me and reach out to me and spoke with me afterwards. Now, from that point, I didn't hear no much movement to this date, but that was good enough for me. They have nothing to do with what happened to my son's case, but they showed some initiative to say, "Hey, look, we here. If you need us, we here." That type deal. So I really appreciate it for the city of Phoenix for what they have done when they reacted that way. Also with Tempe, same thing. It's amazing. You drive away from Buckeye and you get a different reception. Same thing. As some people may know, I have spoke with the mayor one time before my turn in myself. Spoke with him and one of the assistant chief in the past, as well as when I went to the city council meeting. He talked to me immediately there. They had some things going on, some protests about a young man who got drowned, a homeless guy got drowned out there. People was really upset. But he still took the time out to make sure he addressed my concern. Not only that, he did have tried to do everything he can as a mayor, and also I'm sure the city manager. I can't remember exactly if I met the city manager yet, but I know I met him, and also I met the chief of police. That was actually being helpful as well. Trying to say, "Hey, we're here to support." My son is a resident of Tempe, so that's some of the reasons why I went to Tempe in the first place. He's a resident of Tempe. That was the first person I called when my son went missing, and then wanted to, so those guys have been reaching out and then offer some assistance. So that's the difference I'm saying between PM, the difference between depending on where you are and the space that you are that's been happening here in Phoenix when it comes to law enforcement. So I'm still navigating those things right now to see if is there any kind of avenue to get other departments involved, whether it's the FBI, the Attorney General's office, the Justice Departments, and we're reaching out to them as well. As you know, a lot of things. The officer just got Buckeye officer just got indicted the other day for stealing information, from what I understand from the local news here, stealing information, private information of people. So a lot of corruption and things happening in that department as well. They got the chief of police in the past. He got a promotion now, but got suspended from them having falsifying documents and crime statistics and things like that. So a lot of things going on in that department. And like I said, people show you who they are. You need to believe them. So that's what I have to deal with when it comes to that. But thanks for your question. All right, Yellow Jelly Bean, thank you again for your question. Is there someone I can email or write a letter to the FBI or Justice Department, plea for assistance and help? The Justice Department would be very great at this point. I tried with I'm leaving paper trails. I tried with a lot of agencies, even BLM. They shut down when I described that my son's vehicle, and I sent the map back to him with those coordinates. And he shut down now, saying they're talking to me the whole time, and now saying I need my attorney or go through law enforcement to talk to them or whatever. To shut down. So it's at this point, yeah. My guess would be the Justice Department to kind of look into some of the stuff what's going on here in Arizona. So all right, we did know the Justice Department did come into Phoenix in the past because some things that was going on through the Black Lives Matter protest with the George Floyd thing was going on in the past. My son, matter of fact, has marched in that protest as well because he believes in something just as much. When Daniel believes in something, he's going to stand up for right, and right is against police brutality. I have, like I told you guys, I have scars for life from police brutality when I was a kid from police for no reason of my own. They're just the way police brutality work. But, I still know that we need police. And like I told you before, I am pro-police, but I'm not pro-bad police, and I will call them out as it stands. So that's just the way it is. All right. Beans 1170 question. Is there a number to the chief detective or DA supporters can call to put pressure on the so-called police department to do their job? I don't know the numbers offhand and things like that, but those things I definitely would like to look up as well. But I'm reaching out to every agency, every senator, every congressman, congresswoman, you name it. Trying to reach out to everybody I can to get something going here. So, all right, I'm not stopping. Thank you, Alcy, again for being here. Question: future searches? Yes. There will be future searches, but you guys, whenever that time comes, please refer to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. All the information will just show up when I'm able and able to do it, and when those things come up. But right now, everything, if I go out in the desert, I was based on investigative stuff, nothing else right now. So, all right. And I do hear all of a sudden they're trying to change some rules out there. So be aware, be ready to hear about things like that. And I know those things are geared to keep me out the desert at this point. So, but we'll be fighting against that as well. All right, D-Love, question, Mr. Robinson, if you can't answer to preserve the integrity in bringing Daniel home, I understand. Do you think Daniel's vehicle was stolen? Again, I'm not going to rule out anything. I just know it had to be if it was planted here at the scene right here. According to my investigator and myself, yeah, it's planted there. And one of those things that stuns me the most, and I keep telling you guys this, if you look at these pictures, what I'm going to show you, the Buckeye Police Department was quick to say, hey, it's a hard hat. We found a hard hat filled with rainwater, right? And okay, all right, it filled with rainwater. Then once I start talking about this matter of fact, I'm tell you, once I start talking about on what I'm going to tell you on Q&A, I know they came back and did something in their report, add some additional report, say, oh, the vehicle had rain damage. The Terrier had rain damage. I would like to see that too when I see that vehicle, see how much rain damage the vehicle had. But it had rain damage, right? And to say rain got in the vehicle, I'm guessing they're saying, right? And the thing is, It's amazing. A couple things happen. You got to look at it and use common sense. It's enough water they claiming made its way to the backs. Now here you look behind me. Oh, which way I want to go? You look behind me. This one. Okay, you look behind me right here. This is the only window that's bust out. If the car was sitting here for 30 days, almost 30 days, right? And they say it was raining really hard. That's the only place that water can enter, right? The front seat area. That's the driver's window. Only window bust out. No other glass bust out. Sunroof's open now. It's open because the panel been kicked out. There's a panel, no glass. And you look at the angle of that vehicle, rain comes down from the heavens down to the ground, right? And they want you to believe that a hard hat that's sitting in the back of the vehicle got filled up with rainwater from a window that's open in the driver's window, right? Impossible. First of all, other part is there's I told you guys, a business card in that water that's not dissolved. That had to be sitting there for 30 days and it didn't dissolve. That's amazing. And then you got to look at, there's also a cardboard box filled with work logs and things like that in the back seat, undamaged box. No water damage at all. But they want you to say, is all this water damage? No, somebody poured water in that hat and say, so it can say, hey, this vehicle been here all through the monsoon season, that type deal. So those things are staged there. Some stage stuff that's there to try to, they think you're smart, but sometimes they think they're smart, but they're really not. When common sense kicks in and you can look at certain things and be like, that don't make sense. There's no water damage on this box. One thing about a cardboard box, if it's raining that much and everything's getting wet, that box is going to fall apart. The box is sturdy and brand new. So, that type deal. So, there wasn't no water damage in that vehicle. The vehicle wasn't there. And then they purposely ignoring in their report what the rancher's testimony is that I have in recording testimony from the rancher who says the vehicle wasn't there 2 to 3 days prior to the 19th when he found it. It wasn't Buckeye that found it. When he found it, he was out there. I will share some of that video with you guys too as well when he was out there that day with Chief Hall, stating that thing as well. So it's a lot to the story about this. And the one thing I'm learning is they doing everything they can to keep their narrative and try to disprove facts and evidence. It's almost like I heard one famous guy said, there's facts, but I'm going to give you some alternative facts. And they have been doing that for 4 years. So I'm telling you guys, and that's what this approach is when it comes to my son's case. There's our facts, and then there's alternative facts that, in my opinion, I see in that report. So that's another thing. All right, here we go. Question here, AZ, and thank you for your question. Here we go, AZ Native. Do you have a PayPal account? No, I do not. I had to think about that with me because I just held the GoFundMe, but then I thought about the other one, and the other one's called Cash App. And the only reason why I did the Cash App because I had a lot of people come to me and say they didn't want to give the GoFundMe because it takes fees out. And so wanted me to open up a Please Help Find Daniel Cash App, and I did that. So I do have a Cash App, and that's on Twitter. On Twitter, this little thing on the Twitter that's on there, but I don't have it on the website or nothing like that. But that was that one-time deal, but it's still there, that Cash App. But no, not a PayPal. And I try to keep things on one source. In my opinion, first of all, you guys, I don't like asking people for things, but I have to because of the situation. I couldn't handle all this on my own, of course. I would never have made an entire year to be out here on this ground fighting for my son. I would never been able to get the searches done that I have been covering out there. Never had all these flyers getting out everywhere. Never had those billboards. You name it. Everything I've been doing since I've been here from day one would never have been able to do it without asking people for help. So you guys have been doing that. It's $200,000 worth of help, and I really appreciate you guys for doing that because it got me to where we are today, and I really appreciate it. So definitely still need all the help I can get, but I don't really push it really hard as some would like for me to do. It's just hard for me to do that. I never had to ask for things in my life, and now I have to because my son is missing. But thank you so much for that offer as well, AZ Native. I really appreciate you. All right. Brooklyn Michelle, have you shown Daniel's phone logs to LE or the coworker Ken to dispute his story? No, I have not. I showed Buckeye, my daughter and I, like I told you guys again, with the same as that phone right here, stroll down here, holding across the table, and that's the way they looked at Daniel's phone log, the same phone log you guys see there. They never asked us for a paper copy, as they may have y'all believe in suggesting in the police report. As far as I know, they never went to the phone company. I was going to say the name of the phone company to get those laws, because they told us the reason why they were looking at our phone is because they can't do it without a warrant. These companies would not release that stuff to them without a warrant. And if they was to apply for a warrant with the judge wouldn't give them one, just like they wouldn't give one for the cell phone pings, is because it's not a criminal case. My son just went off and vanished on his own. I'm guessing, like the detective said, to join a monastery, become a monk or something. So being that the case in their eyes, of course, they didn't get a warrant. And if they did, I would like to know what judge did that. So the whole point is, and I need to know some stuff, need to be given to us as a family. But definitely no warrant was given, as far as I know, and they don't have any police, no phone records of their own outside of what we showed them on the phone and what they probably got out of the phone once they went through the phone off the scene. They probably went through Daniel's phone and look at some stuff, same stuff I did, but neglected to put that in the report. Some things, like I said, again, in this phone, I will show you guys as well, things being erased, the memory card missing, the things erased out the phone related to the young lady, and some other little things that I can point out with that phone, and that's very troubling as well. Why certain things is missing and other things are not, and those things are purposely, in my opinion, missing. So it's designed, not because it is randomly missing. So that type deal. All right. Also, AZ. Oh, I thought there was another question. Thanks so much, AZ, for your question earlier. Amber, thank you for your question and coming into the Q&A this evening. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Amber, from Facebook. Any leads from the phone log information? Seems like Daniel stopped responding after 9:30 a.m. Was there any text messages sent by him after that time? No. The last person that Daniel reached out to was Ken. All right. And when you made that call, that 9:28 call, that was it. Nothing else from Daniel. No text messages, no phone calls, no nothing. No movement, no bank movement, no nothing movement. All that was gone. Right? Everything. So I just want to say from that point, everything from that point was family members and his coworkers calling to see if he's all right. That type deal. That's the only thing that happened from that point. And then that last call from Ken at 3-something that evening. And so that was it. Other than that, his friends, family, all of us reaching out to him. Like I told you guys, when he went missing, that phone was ringing. Ringing for hours. I would say almost in my mind was a full day before it finally went dead, I guess, and would start going straight to voicemail. So it's been ringing for a good while. All right. Question here from D Love. Mr. Robinson, do you know the company the Waffle House uses for their security footage? No, I do not. And it may be on that picture. They do have something kind of on some of those pictures that I have. So I could probably look at it closely and it probably have something stating that the name of the company that does that. All right. I think I missed one. Okay, I will go back. I'll go back on Jill. I think I see a question from you. Missing person. Okay, wait, that's a comment. I thought that was a question. Oh, so Ms. Ox, can you see your question? Okay. All right. I thought that was a question. Jill, thank you for your question. Had his company offered to help? They came to the searches. That's the only help they was offering at the time. They just came to the searches once I formed the searches. And assistance with the well getting checked and things like that. But other than that, no. They didn't offer any other help that I can remember. This is searches mainly. All right, and also, yeah, the owner offered. They did donate to the GoFundMe. The owner, and also the owner also offered a office space when I first started my searches to be able to use in their company, which I thought was very nice. The office space, but I chose not to because I think it was proper to mix family and Dane's job together like that. That that's being improper. So I decided not to. All right. All right. I'm trying to see somebody had a question. I'm not sure if it's a question. So you guys, what did I just do? Okay, I'm sorry, you guys. I have some technical problems here. I just tried to find a question here, and I kind of hit some buttons there, and everybody just disappeared on me. So bear in with me again. But yes, if you guys have any more questions, please put the question mark there, the word question, something like that, where I can find them. If I miss your questions, please feel free to come again on the Q&A and ask those questions. Also, I would be willing to answer those questions as well. Again, I want to point out some things that Barry put out. Day of Remembrance for those missing, Saturday, September the 10th at 6:30 p.m. at the House of the Senate lawn in Arizona Capitol. You guys can find the information on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com as well as Eventbrite. You can go to Eventbrite and type in a Day of Remembrance, and that will also bring you up to the event. For the families who want to be a part of the event, please please contact us at pleasehelpfinddaniel@yahoo.com. We really, really want you to be a part of this event. We really want to bring you the resource. We really want to highlight your loved one's story. We really want you to get all the help that you can. So please, by all means, if you have a missing loved one, please contact us. Please help find Daniel at yahoo.com. Please help find Daniel at yahoo.com and let us know so we can reserve a spot for you. You can bring your tables, your flyers, and your information, so that way we can share it with the public. And also you can meet other family members and also, like I said, get those resources. Again, thank you, Barry, for putting this out. Like, share, and subscribe. You guys can do that as well. Like, share, and subscribe to help this channel grow and get Daniel's story out farther. And also those families who eventually would come on and share their loved one's story here on this Q&A, because I did have family on before. I would like to have more families. I didn't want it to be one. I want to be more families. So I know it's kind of hard for families who want to come on. A lot of times, some family members, like my own, for instance, kind of reluctant to get on camera and things like that. Myself, I had those issues at the beginning, but you know what? I had to push through a lot of stuff, and you guys see where I'm at now. Push through a lot of things, a lot of hangups in my life. I would like to call them for myself, to make sure my son story get out there, make sure he's best served by me as a father who's out here looking for him. If you guys have any questions, please preface your question with a question mark. Type in the word question before your question, or so your questions can will stand out from the comments. That way I can find them, and as I'm coming down the comment section. All right, I think I have one here from Will. Thank you, Will. Question: did they remove the computer from the vehicle and check for its history? I doubt it. I don't know what they did when it comes to that computer, but I know on my behalf, some of those things been taken care of forensically. I was told they didn't do any forensic on anything in that vehicle, so I only can go by that. As far as I know, at this date, I don't know what they did with the computer. When I say they, the Buckeye Police Department, before they turned it over to me, and it is kind of hard to say what they did to it in a few days after the vehicle been found. The vehicle was found on the 19th. I had all of those things probably by the 23rd, or probably the latest the 26th, and of July. It's hard to say that all that kind of work can be done on a computer, cell phone, and all that stuff. But when I say forensic work, that quick of a time, I know it wasn't easy for me. So I doubt they could do it in that little bit of time and get information. So, excuse me. All right, have a question, Shiro's Nation. Thank you again for your questions as well. All right, hold on a second, please. Is your nonprofit organization for Daniel set up? It is. It's set up, but we're still working on some things well, I would probably say no, it's not set up totally. We are working some things right now to make sure we best serve the community. So we're working on some of the bylaws and things like that, Constitution, getting those things together. But yes, we're almost there. So thank you for that. I'm only asking because YouTube allows us to do live funding for nonprofits, and funds go directly to the establishment. I would love to support it. And thank you. And I will be putting up, we will have a launch date, you guys. So y'all watch out for that as well. The Daniel Robinson Foundation will have a launch date. And whenever that launch date comes, you guys will see that on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. You're on this Q&A, on the social media accounts. Also, the Daniel Robinson Foundation social media accounts that will be coming out up as well. Start producing some of those things. So you'll see all of that come up. And whenever you do Sheroes Nation, then yes, it would be ready for that what you're doing there. So it's a different separate thing for myself and my efforts to find Daniel. But it's like I say, named in honor of my son and honor of the kind of persons that we are. We both, my son and myself, are people that like to give back to the community and give up to people. You guys have helped me. We want to be able to help other people as well. All right. Thank you, Amber Overton. Thanks so much for your question. Can you see his Google timeline into information from around 9:30? That might give insights to the last whereabouts. I got more information now that I didn't have it before, but I cannot say yes or no on this question right now. And one of the reasons why, because I some things I want to check on myself before I say, yeah, that's definitely something from Daniel versus something that could have came from somewhere else. So I definitely want to keep that down for now. But thank you so much for your question, Amber, and thank you so much for being here every time on the Q&A, doing a lot of support. I really appreciate it. Now I do see that I ran out of questions here. Thank you guys for coming out to the Q&A this evening. I want to leave y'all with one last thing that I have here. I want to share with you guys. It's a little short video. Well, it's not really that short. It's about 6 minutes, 45 seconds. And what I want you guys to do is support Dateline. Dateline put out the article. They've been working with me last year out in the desert, out there searching for Daniel. They came out their podcast and things like that. So, and I want you guys to be able to support them, the podcast. It has Daniel's stories featured there, one of the first, and is high featured there. And I really thank God for that, because it gives Daniel some more boost on his story. And, it's come from the hard work that the volunteers and myself have been doing to try to get Daniel's story, my team as well. And, so you guys can support that as well and go watch it. And like I said, it's out now. But I'm going to play the trailer. And the reason why I'm playing it last, because I don't know how YouTube is going to react to that. Because sometimes, even though I got the rights to it, they don't want allow me to be able to give me the links. The problem sometimes YouTube don't catch up with that, and then they start cutting the channel off and things like that. In case that happened, I'll save it for the end of the Q&A tonight, so you guys have this part of the Q&A until that part is resolved. But you can watch that trailer, and then after that trailer, I'll be you'll see the ending thing that I do, and I'll be going into the next Q&A. But I will be coming back again and give some information to you guys on social media. I was on Twitter. I will be doing some TikToks, and I will be doing some stuff here on the YouTube channel. I'm going to make it a point to do that. So follow for updates. And please don't forget about the Day of Remembrance. We definitely need you guys to remember that is the event again. So you guys, September the 10th, keep that in your calendar. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'm going to play this video for you guys who want to hang around for that. And then I'll be going from the point. Love you guys. Thank you.
This week, NBC News is highlighting the stories of everyday people who mysteriously vanished in our series, Missing in America. Over the years, our friends at Dateline have covered hundreds of missing persons cases.
Now the team is debuting a new podcast called Dateline Missing in America, focusing on 6 different disappearances.
We're going to talk to Dateline's Josh Mankiewicz in a moment, but first, he has a little more about one of those cases.
It's dawn in the desert of Buckeye, Arizona. Volunteers are searching for a young man who's been missing since June of 2021. His name, Daniel Robinson. And leading the search, Daniel's father, David.
Where's everybody located?
For more than a year, the mystery of what happened to Daniel has stumped investigators and a father desperate to find his son.
He's a very bright, intelligent geologist.
Last year, David moved from South Carolina to Arizona.
I just grabbed everything I had and just started driving, and I made it here.
He began his search at a desert well site where Daniel was working on the day he disappeared. He spoke with Daniel's co-worker about that day.
He did tell me that my son seemed like he was acting really quiet. And then he told me my son decided to just kind of waved off to him, got in his vehicle, and drove off.
David says his son was not depressed and describes him as happy. In July 2021 came a break. A rancher found Daniel's Jeep rolled over in a remote ravine.
When I first saw that crash, I was really devastated.
The car was badly damaged and no sign of Daniel. To help make sense of this scene, David hired private investigator Jeff McGrath.
There was nothing along this route that the vehicle took into that bottom ravine that matched the damage. It's telling me the vehicle was probably crashed somewhere else. Either moved here or it was continued to be driven.
And that is where Daniel's case stands. David wants to get more attention and resources into searching for Daniel.
I'm going to bring my son home alive.
He's hoping someone out there might have information that could help find his son.
He never give up on anything. I definitely won't give up on him.
Wow.
Holy moly.
My goodness. Dateline's Josh Mankiewicz joins us now. Good morning to you.
Hey, Josh.
Good morning.
So we're all literally talking back to the television, which is what people do at home. People get sucked into these cases. So hopefully we can get some breaks. Let's talk about Daniel Robinson's case. It's the first episode from the Dateline Missing in America podcast. Where does his case stand now?
Right now, he's still missing. It was a year around the end of June. They're still searching. David Robinson remains convinced that he's going to find his son and eventually bring him home alive. And you know, they need tips, they need help. And one of the reasons that Andrea Canning and I are doing this podcast series is that, you know, these are not typical Dateline cases. By the time we usually bring you a Dateline, it's over, it's solved. We know what happened. In this case, we don't. All kinds of theories are possible. And this is a time when people who listen to these podcasts really can contribute and really can help, because maybe something you know, something you remember, something you didn't think was important at the time, that could be vitally important to investigators and to these families, which really need answers.
Let's dive into that a little more, because that's something so interesting about this. Listeners can, through social media or through going to the site, really contribute if they saw something or if they heard something, and that's really a first, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, this is something that people are doing more and more, which is wanting to contribute to this sort of whole process that they see unfolding either on social media or on television. And this is an opportunity. I mean, there's a website that Daniel's father set up called pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. So you can go there. You can call the police in Buckeye, Arizona. You can go to our website. We have information right there on the screen. So, you know, there are lots of ways in which people can help. You know, police often talk about cases being solved through either changes in technology, things like DNA, or changes in circumstances. People realize, oh, you know, I'm not going to cover for you anymore. We're not together anymore. I'm not going to continue to tell that lie. Or just somebody remembers something that they didn't think was important at the time, or that they thought investigators maybe already knew. Things like that can really be vitally important.
It's really incredible. Josh, I feel like every time I look at the iTunes charts, there's another Dateline podcast at the top of the charts. The Thing About Pam is one that sticks out to me, but that comes from the incredible team and the producers and you guys at Dateline. This was different because this came from fans of Dateline. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, back in 2005, I did a story for Dateline about how the TV in particular didn't cover missing black people the way we cover missing white people. From that, in part, came our digital series, Missing in America, in which people would contact us and tell us stories that needed to be covered, stories of the missing, stories that weren't getting coverage. One of the things that's abundantly clear is that sort of public attention and news media attention frequently drives law enforcement and makes a case more important. It makes people want to spend more resources and time on it. I mean, one of the sad truths is that police departments in this country, they're not really set up to find missing people.
Yeah.
They're set up to, deal with the crimes that are coming in today and yesterday, and so it's missing persons is very rarely a priority, which is one reason why people calling in, people with things they remember, people with things with tips. It can make a huge difference.
Let's hope it makes a difference. I mean, as you were talking, we were showing video scrolling, and it's just so many faces that we've never heard about. I know you're going to tackle other cases. Josh, thank you for your time. And for everybody at home, you can listen to Dateline Missing in America now, wherever you get your podcasts, or you can scan this QR code on your screen and you can start listening. The first 2 episodes are available now.
Wow, incredible. And his brother Ben was my first co-anchor and my first job ever.
Legendary
really?
family.